Most people believe that time reveals character. They think that if you have known someone for 10 years, you know their soul. This is a lie. Time does not reveal character. Time merely allows people to perfect their mask. A psychopath can maintain the appearance for an entire lifetime if circumstances remain favorable. Niccolo Machiavelli, the man who saw human nature without its coverings, knew the truth. He understood that character does not reveal itself in the long, peaceful days of comfort. Character reveals itself in an instant, in the moment of fracture, in the thin behavioral edges, in the half-second when the mask slips. You have been looking at the painting. I am going to teach you to look at the cracks in the canvas. There are 3 specific moments, 3 psychological litmus tests that instantly force a person to show you who they actually are. Most people miss these moments because they are too busy listening to words. But if you observe, if you know where to look, you will see the monster before it bites you. And once you have seen it, you cannot unsee it. We live in a theater. Every morning you wake up, put on your costume, rehearse your lines, and step into the world. Your boss does this. Your partner does this. Your best friend does this. We all perform the version of ourselves we want the world to accept. This is not necessarily evil, it is social survival. If we all said exactly what we sought, society would collapse by noon. But there are actors who perform their role not for survival, they perform it for predation. These are the narcissists, the Machiavellians, the covert manipulators who do not see you as a person, they see you as a battery, an energy source. They are charming. Often they are the most charismatic people in the room. They mirror your values, laugh at your jokes, make you feel seen. But it is all simulation. Machiavelli wrote in The Prince, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Only a few feel what you really are." Why? Because the predator controls the interaction, controls the lighting. To see the truth, you must change the lighting. You must introduce a variable they did not prepare for. You must apply pressure, but not heavy pressure, not a crisis. A crisis is too obvious. Even a coward can play the hero for 60 seconds during a crisis. No, you need the thin edge. Harvard psychologist Nalini Ambady conducted research on thin slices of behavior. She discovered that people can accurately judge character in under 5 minutes of observation, often more accurately than after months of acquaintance. Why? Because intuition catches micro-leaks that the logical brain misses. Today, we are turning that intuition into a weapon. We will examine 3 specific thin slice scenarios, not general advice about trusting your gut, stress tests. Apply them and the mask falls. You will be left with the cold, hard reality of the person standing in front of you. Be prepared. You may not like what you see. You may realize that the person sleeping next to you has been a stranger for years. Are you ready to look? Revelation 1. The micro-refusal, the boundary test. Let us begin with the subtlest but most powerful indicator. How does a person respond when you deny them something small? I call this the micro-refusal. Here is the psychology. A manipulator, a narcissist, or a person with dark triad personality traits views other people as extensions of themselves. They do not see you as a separate being with your own autonomy, they see you as a hand or a foot. When you move your hand, it moves. You do not ask it to, you command it. When they ask you for a small favor, "Can you get me a coffee? Can we change the restaurant? Can I borrow your charger?" They are not asking, they are commanding their limb to move. So what happens when the limb refuses? What happens when you say, "No, I can't do that right now"? For a psychologically healthy person, a small refusal is nothing. It is information. Okay, no problem. They move on. Their ego is intact. But for a person with a corrupted character, a small refusal is a metaphysical shock. It is a rebellion. It is the hand severing itself from the body. They cannot process it. Watch the face. Machiavelli noted that people are driven by 2 things, fear and love. But tyrants are driven by a third, control. When you deliver the micro-refusal, you will see the mask slide. It happens fast. It may last half a second.
Their smile will freeze. The light will leave their eyes. A flash of pure, cold fury will cross their features. Paul Ekman, the researcher who mapped the human face, calls this a micro-expression. It is involuntary. The reptilian brain reacts before the social mask can engage. They may recover quickly. They may say, "Oh, of course, no problem." But you saw it. You saw the glitch. Why is this the most dangerous sign? Because if they go into a rage over a small no, imagine what they will do when you say a large no. If they cannot handle your refusal to buy them a drink, how will they handle your refusal to sign a contract? How will they handle your decision to leave the relationship? They will not. They will destroy you. The micro-refusal exposes the sense of entitlement buried in the soul. It reveals that their kindness is entirely conditional on your compliance. Test this tomorrow. Choose someone you suspect. Someone always charming, always pleasant, but something feels slightly off. Wait until they ask you for a small, trivial favor. Then simply and politely say, "No, I can't do that." No elaborate excuses, no excessive apology. Just set the boundary and watch their eyes. If they look confused, that is normal. If they look disappointed, that is also normal. But if they look offended, if you feel the temperature in the room drop by several degrees, you are in the presence of a tyrant currently performing as a friend. Machiavelli would advise you to create distance immediately, because the person who cannot respect a small boundary will inevitably violate a large one. They were never asking for your help, they were testing your submission, and you just failed their test, which means in their mind, you have become an enemy.
Revelation 2. The Silent Funeral. How to Test for Envy. Robert Greene, the modern interpreter of Machiavelli, warned that envy is a weed you should never water. But I am telling you, water it. Water it just enough to see where the roots grow. The second thing that instantly reveals character is what I call the silent funeral, how a person responds to your good news. We are taught that true friends cry with us when we are in pain. This is true, but sympathy for suffering is easy. It costs nothing. In fact, watching you suffer can make a toxic person feel better. It activates their savior complex, or their schadenfreude, their pleasure in your pain. It is easy to embrace a crying person. It makes you feel strong. But genuinely celebrating someone else's victory, cheering for a friend who just surpassed you, requires a nobility of spirit that is extraordinarily rare. Machiavelli knew that people are driven by competition. In the zero-sum game of the dark psyche, your win is their loss. Here is the test. Drop your good news. You just achieved something: a promotion, a new relationship, a physical transformation, a small win. Share it with them, but do not minimize it. Do not be self-deprecating. Share it with genuine joy. "I finally closed that deal. I'm so happy about it." Now freeze the moment. Do not listen to their words. Words are cheap. "Oh my God, congratulations, that's amazing." Ignore the sound. Watch the video. Look for the thin edges. Does the smile reach their eyes, or does the mouth smile while the eyes stay dead? Is there a micro delay, a fraction of a second hesitation before they perform the celebration? Do they immediately redirect the conversation back to themselves? "That's great. It reminds me of when I..." Or worse, do they offer the poison compliment? "Wow, you got the job. I'm surprised they hired someone with your experience. You got lucky. You look amazing, almost like you used to." This is the silent funeral. They are mourning their own status. Your success held up a mirror to their stagnation, and they hate you for it. Why is this lethal? Because the person who cannot celebrate your success is a potential saboteur. They are the smiling underminer. They pray for your fall. When you win, they scheme. When you stumble, they are the first to extend a hand, not to lift you up, but to hold you down. At Machiavelli's court, he warned against those who flatter you. But he should have warned even more sternly against those who go silent when you win. The silence of a friend during your victory is the loudest warning shot you will ever hear. It means they were never your friend. They were your competitor, and you were too blind to see the scoreboard. If you observe the silent funeral, do not confront them. Do not expose them. Apply the Machiavellian law of concealment.
Stop sharing your wins. Become gray. Feed them the misery they are craving. Tell them things are going badly. Tell them you are struggling. Watch them come alive. Watch the energy return to them. They will become animated, helpful, talkative. They will love you again because you have returned to where they want you, beneath them. This confirms the diagnosis. They are potential vampires, and you must drive the stake through this relationship before they drain you completely.
Revelation 3. The impunity factor. The waiter rule. Envy and the need for control are internal states, conditions inside someone else's consciousness. The third revelation is different. It concerns what happens when all constraints are removed. What happens when a person begins to believe they are God, when they believe their actions carry no consequences? This is the ultimate test. The Ring of Gyges reveals the darkest truth. There is a well-known concept called the waiter rule. You can determine a person's character by how they treat service staff. If someone is pleasant to you but rude to the waiter, they are not truly a good person. This is correct, but it is elementary. It is the foundation level of character assessment. We are going to take this principle to a deeper level, into Machiavellian depths. The real test is not merely how someone treats a waiter, it is how they treat anyone over whom they hold absolute, unchecked power in a moment of stress. I call this the impunity factor. Abraham Lincoln said, "Nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power." You do not need to make someone president to test this. You only need to observe them in situations where they hold advantage. Watch them when they are the customer and a mistake has been made. Observe them when they are the manager and a deadline has been missed. Look at them behind the wheel of a car when a pedestrian is walking too slowly. In that moment, they have power. They are inside a metal box. The pedestrian is flesh. They have the feeling of impunity. They are anonymous. They will be gone in seconds. What do? Do they yield? Do they accelerate? Do they scream from behind the safety of their glass cage? This reveals what Carl Jung called the shadow side, the person someone would be if laws and social norms did not exist. Machiavelli wrote that people are ungrateful, fickle, dishonest, cowardly, and greedy. He believed people are good only when necessity compels them. When the necessity disappears, when they can be cruel without consequences, their true nature emerges. Look for the specific signs of power abuse. You are looking for the person who enjoys the suffering of subordinates, the subtle smirk when they publicly correct someone's grammar, the extra 5 minutes they make someone wait simply because they can, the way they withhold information to make someone else squirm. This is not about rudeness. This is about sadism. Sadism is not only for serial killers. It exists on an entire spectrum. Every time a person uses their small allocation of power to diminish another, they reveal that their core operating system is predatory. They are showing you that the only reason they have not yet harmed you is that they do not yet have power over you. Right now, you are equal, or perhaps superior, so they treat you with respect. But the moment the dynamic shifts, the moment you need something from them, the moment you become vulnerable, they will treat you exactly the way they treated that waiter, exactly the way they treated that pedestrian. Because character is an operating system. If the OS is programmed to crush the weak, it will crush you the instant you show weakness. Do not be deceived by how they treat kings. Watch how they treat pawns. Because to a narcissist, everyone eventually becomes a pawn, including you. The 3 coordinates and what to do with them. Stop listening to words. The micro-refusal. The silent funeral. The impunity factor. These are the 3 coordinates on the dark map. If you observe one, be cautious. Everyone has bad days. Everyone has moments of weakness. If you observe 2, be on guard. You are dealing with a dangerous personality. If you observe all 3, you are in a cage with a tiger. And the fact that he has not yet eaten you does not mean he's a vegetarian. It simply means he's not hungry right now. But tigers always get hungry. You must understand, you cannot fix this. You cannot love the entitlement out of them. You cannot root out the envy with your support. You cannot teach them not to be cruel. These are not habits. This is their nature. And as the parable of the scorpion and the frog teaches us, nature always wins. What do? Do not make a scene. Do not confront them. Become formless. Slowly withdraw your energy. Slowly stop sharing your secrets. Slowly limit their access. Fade into the shadow. Let them find a new source to feed from. Let them find a new target to control, to envy, to crush. Do not let it be you. Because the price of keeping these people in your life is not merely your peace, it is your soul. They will consume your light to fuel their darkness, the mirror, turning the lens on yourself. Now, pause. Breathe. You were nodding your head. You were recalling names. You were mentally cataloging the people in your life who match these descriptions. Yes, my boss does that. Yes, my ex behaved that way. Yes, that friend is exactly like this. It feels satisfying, doesn't it? It feels good to hold the magnifying glass up and examine the flaws of the monsters around you. It is comfortable to be the observer. But I did not bring you here to give you a weapon against others. That would be too easy. And Machiavelli was never a proponent of easy paths. I brought you here to give you the ultimate weapon, one that cuts in both directions. Because if you want to be truly untouchable, if you want to be exceptional, you must do what 99% of people are too cowardly to do. You must turn the magnifying glass on yourself. Because the uncomfortable truth, the one that might make you close this video right now, is that you have done these things too. Perhaps not all of them, perhaps not often, but be honest. Have you ever felt a flash of rage when someone denied you? Have you ever felt discomfort when a friend succeeded where you failed? Have you ever taken your stress out on someone who could not fight back? If you answer never, you are a liar, and the liar is the most dangerous personality type of all. We all have a shadow. The difference is that the extraordinary person owns their shadow, while the ordinary person is consumed by it. To truly master the art of character, you must audit your own soul with the same ruthlessness you apply to others. This is not about guilt. Guilt is a useless emotion. It is a waste of energy. This is about adaptation. The 3 corrections. Rebuilding from within. Correction 1. Mastering no. Sovereign thinking. When the world says no to you, track your reaction. If you feel anger, stop it. That anger, your ego screaming, "I don't matter," is a child's tantrum. To be truly valuable, you must reach a state of internal abundance where the world's refusal means nothing. A no is simply a change of direction. A no is protection. When you receive a refusal with complete grace, with a genuine smile, you throw people off balance. They expect you to push back. They expect you to beg. They expect you to get angry. When you say, "I completely understand, no problem at all," and you actually mean it, you are signaling your strength. You are signaling that you have options. You are signaling that you are not desperate. Desperation smells like rot. Detachment smells like power. Practice this. The next time a person, a client, or a friend says no, force your body to relax. Force your face to remain open. Kill the tyrant in the cradle. Become the king on the throne. The king does not beg. Correction 2. Transmuting envy, the alchemist's mindset. Envy is energy. It is simply energy moving in the wrong direction. When you feel envy, it is because you believe the supply of success is limited. You believe that if they eat, you go hungry. This is scarcity thinking. It is peasant thinking. Abundance thinking recognizes that another person's success is proof that success is possible. If they can do it, the physics of the universe permit it. When you feel that sting of envy, transform it, convert it into fuel. Do not pretend to celebrate. Use the celebration. Move closer to the winner. Study them. Absorb their blueprint. If you resent them, you push away their knowledge. If you applaud them, you open the door to learning from them. Machiavelli knew to keep friends close and enemies closer, but the truly wise person knows to make winners their friends in order to become one. Do not be the smiling saboteur. Be the strategic ally. It is far more profitable. Correction 3. Mastering power, the stoic leader. And finally, the impunity factor. When you hold power, be merciful, not because you are kind, but because you are disciplined. Cruelty is a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you need to cause pain in others in order to feel significant. A truly great person, a truly dangerous person, does not need to remind the waiter who is in charge. He knows. The waiter knows. The room knows. When you treat the lowest status person in the room with the same respect you show the highest, you are not being a saint, you are being a strategist. You are building a reputation for consistency. People trust consistency. They fear volatility. Be the constant. When you have the ring of power, when you can do anything without consequence, choose honor. Not for them, for yourself. Because every time you choose the low road, you degrade your own self-image. When you tell your subconscious, I am a person of low self-worth, it believes you and begins to sabotage your actions. Maintain your nobility in the dark and you will shine in the light. Conclusion: the curator of your own life. What does all of this give us? It gives us the ability to see through people. You now have the tools to scan your environment. You can spot the micro-refusal, the silent funeral, and the impunity factor. You are no longer wandering blind through a forest full of predators. You have a map. But with this gift of perception comes a responsibility, the responsibility of choice. You are the curator of your own life. Machiavelli said, the first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. Look around you. If you are surrounded by tyrants, saboteurs, and sadists, that is not their fault. It is yours. You let them in. You kept them close. You ignored the warning signs. That ends today. The purge does not need to be dramatic. You do not need to burn bridges with napalm. Simply begin closing the gates. Stop feeding the energy vampires. Stop confiding in the envious. Stop relying on the cruel. And into the space that opens up, invite those who are genuinely worth it. Those who respect your no. Those who celebrate your victories. Those who show kindness even when it is not required. These people exist. They are as rare as diamonds, but you will never find them while your hands are full of coal. Drop the coal. Step away from the heat of drama and into the cold clarity of truth. It will be lonely at first. The individualist path always is. Sheep move in herds. The wolf stands on the hill alone, but the view from the hill is better. The air is cleaner, and you are free. Be warned. As you begin to see these patterns in others and eliminate them in yourself, you will change. You will become calmer, sharper, harder to manipulate, and people will notice. Manipulators will sense that their old tricks no longer work on you. The buttons they once pressed have been disconnected. They will grow angry. They will call you cold. They will say you have changed. They will try to gaslight you back into submission. This is the final test. When the world tries to drag you back into the mud, do you slip or do you stand? There is a specific technique, a Machiavellian countermove for managing the consequences of your own evolution. It is called the Grey Rock method, applied with military precision. But for that weapon is for another time. For now, watch the eyes, track the reactions, analyze the power. The truth is right in front of you. Open your eyes.